Hello guys, today I will try to explain you why you're not able to carry your games as Ashe. So the first thing that I do when I play Ashe is to always get Donna's Bow. Donna's Bow is a pretty good item for Ashe, mainly for the reason that she's a little tempo character. And of course, just like we do with Jinx, we're gonna go for double adaptive shard instead of attack speed and AD. Reason being that we go X-Optics later on, and when we go X-Optics we lack a lot of attack speed, so most of the attack speed just goes on the Donna's Bow. And we can just go double adaptive force to have even a better farming. So right now we're playing against Aphelios Pantheon. And against Pantheon, the only thing is that we have to be really careful about his level 1, which is fairly stronger than my Rakan. So technically speaking, the thing that you should always do as an Ashe is to always try to gather Prio in some way, which I'm gonna try to do just by standing a bit more diagonal to the wave in the way that you're seeing. This is a pretty good positioning for Ashe, mainly because you can look for this W here, which basically gets both the wave and the enemy. And as you can see, we sort of did it here. Now, the Pantheon is looking a bit for me, but worry not, just like make sure to get as much wave as possible. And eventually try to get the level 2 first, because the level 2 first kind of matters towards this lane. Mainly because I wanna try to look for a trade as well, right? That's the important thing. So here we have a pretty good trade at the start. The guy managed to get level 2 right away. Now he does. We're still in a really good position, guys. Just like pot. Keep autoing. The guy might have E, he flashes out, and now it's a 2 versus 1. And as you can see, flash, and the guy just dies. Just guys, remember, never try to play a fight against an Ashe, especially with Doran's Bow and little tempo, you're always gonna sort of lose. As you can see, that's a perfect example of it. We get the level 2 and we play out the fight. Just playing it front to back, really, get the little tempo proc, and what is the difference, right? The difference is that Aphelios is not a character that plays little tempo, and the Pantheon just plays for the burst. So by the time Pantheon engages, I can win the afterfight. So from here, I'm gonna go Refillable, Longsword, and Boots. Boots are pretty good in this game because you can sort of space the Aphelios a bit better. I, generally speaking, advise not to go Q second, okay? I won't usually go Outshot third, but we looked for a fight, so I had to lock Q second. Usually, you wanna get your Outshot at level 2 to check the enemy camps right away. As you can see, we have no idea of where the enemy jungler is, and I kind of want to know if the enemy is gonna play the scuttle fight that Shaco is gonna do bot side. So what we have to do right now here as we come back to the lane is unlock our E and throw it right away here to check where the enemy jungler is. We confirm that the enemy jungler came bot lane, but I guess he already took scuttle. My jungler is really late. So we don't have to play a scuttle, but we can look for a gank. So we're gonna let this wave come towards us, and remember, Pantheon has no flash. So we're gonna say it in the chat and focus mostly Pantheon here, rather than Aphelios, because Aphelios is, well, really hard to kill. I think they have the information that the Shaco is here. I will still fight here, possibly. Especially the Pantheon that has no flash. So we're just gonna ping him as much as we can. And the main focus, again, as ADC, you guys want to say this information, right? The information of the Pantheon having no flash. Because then, it is really easy to punish. But Aphelios maybe has flash now, I don't really remember. But I do believe that killing Pantheon was the easiest thing here. Maybe Aphelios has no flash as well. I'm not really sure, guys. When I record my videos, it's a bit hard. But I hope you guys are understanding a lot through my videos. And they are helping us out, you out to actually play always better, if that makes sense. Now, the Aphelios looked for an heavy trade on me, which I don't really agree with, counting how much wave there was. And this guy's gonna lose a shit ton of wave, right? In this video, we're playing a bit lower than average. We're playing in around Diamond, maybe Emerald. Let's say Emeralds. Now, as you can see, 99% of the laning phase as Ashe is literally just kite, poke, and have a really good positioning. If you manage to do that and never drop damage, you're always gonna win as Ashe. It's really hard to have a losing matchup before Emerald, at least in the laning phase. And I like a lot this Exotic build, guys, because now you scale as Ashe. Like, back in the time you weren't scaling, but now you can scale, and this is such like a wonderful thing. Aphelios having red-white is so good for me, because will you look at how he can't play the game. So I want you to notice the weapons of Aphelios and understand that, well, we are gonna win quite hard if we trade now, because he has to play melee to me, but the character just doesn't let him do that. I have way more range than him. So even if he jumps on me, this guy can't do much. And they're just like having to fold. And most of these, games that you're gonna play against the characters like Pantheon, full laners, the important thing is that you don't die at the first engage. And we're gonna outshot again towards the blue side. This is the best outshot that you can give. Look at that. We see all the camps of red side, and now we're gonna see also blue side. You see that blue buff is up, so I do expect her to be top side, which is true. We confirm that. And knowing this information is actually so good, because look at how much pressure I can make, right? I can just make a shit ton of pressure. Here I can stop him again. Just, you know, throw one W there. And W is like such a huge value spell. You always want to max these. There are really few cases in which you should max Q. The guy just healed. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna W that. Flash this one, and then get the double kill off. I thought the guy would have stunned me, so I flashed, but apparently the guy died even before that. Now, we knew this dive was pretty good as well, reason being that the enemy jungler was topside. That's why I love Ashe as a character. You have every information you need if you actually need it. Just use your outshot really well. It is a high cooldown, like, you know, spell. But if you use it at the right time and you use it properly, it is really, really, really hard to make mistakes because it's really hard to actually make mistakes with her. Now, another thing that I want to argue about is barrier versus ghost. I always advise to go for ghost if they have no hard locks. Hard locks are simply spells that point and click and they just like make you unable to run or like walk away. Also, technically speaking, ghost is more of a high gilo summoner because you gotta play and click really well with it. I will advise anyone below diamond to just play barrier. It's just gonna be so much better for you guys, really. You have more HP, and you can look for a more extended fight without actually making mistakes. Every time I coached someone playing a Ghost Ashe, they made a lot of mistakes, especially because you got a Ghost a bit earlier at level 1, and people are not really good at doing that. So now the things that can happen from a jungle perspective are two. Okay, the enemy jungler is spotted, so we already have the confirmation we don't have to use our outshot. Again, another advice, guys, don't waste your outshot. Just, if you know the enemy jungler's position, you don't do outshots, okay? You simply are gonna wait till you have no idea of where he is anymore. Now, we knew that he did topside camps, and he still has probably to do bottling one, so she already did. She's quite high in farm. I'm gonna bait a bit so that she looks for an ultimate or something like that, but she doesn't. The third time that she recalls in a row. Now, this guy has a lot of farm, but apparently it's not giving up. It's actually not giving up. Now, this is a pretty good fight if I make it work now. I'm gonna outshot just to check if Milan is following. And if he's not, guess what? I'm just gonna ult right away. So that he is forced to eventually ult out. Doesn't manage to do it in time. You guys have to understand that this was a mistake by the enemy jungler, mainly because enemy botlane can never move here. And so if the enemy botlane can never move, it is really hard for her to just like walk into our jungle and pretend that she can do that. It's just like really hard. The Shaco looks for a gank, and I think that they have all flashes. But apparently they're not gonna use that. I'm gonna leave the kill to the guy. Now, usually as ADC, when I'm a bit fed already, I tend to leave a few kills, especially when my jungler is a jungler that has less farm than the enemy. Try to always leave something so that later on into the skirmishes of topside or like other skirmishes in general, you're not gonna regret not giving any kill because they lose and they don't have enough gold. Now, gotta be really careful about the Pantheon ult, guys. Go always a bit long here against Pantheon support, because Pantheon tends to be that dickhead which like looks for an ultimate here or just wants to cheese you out and waste as much time as possible. I'm gonna go healing boots, and once again, if you don't really know why I'm going healing boots, you guys can watch my video where I explain it. But simply put, when you go Doran's Bow and you go double adaptive force, you also go alacrity, which means that we don't have any type of healing source in our itemization. So we either put it on the shoes or we put it on another item later on. But I do like the idea of going healing boots. As long as you don't rush healing boots, it's completely fine. And if you like the Berserk Greaves Ashe, it is a bit sad to not rush Berserk Greaves, I know. It's actually a really sad thing, but I heavily believe that now Exoptic Rush is so much better than the old, let's just say like the old start of rushing shoes. But we're winning bot lane ultra hard, we're just gonna get the tower now, and eventually rotate to mid lane. Now, I see a lot of people making another mistake here, not as Ashe, but in general. You have to rotate mid lane here, instead of basing. Look, I don't have item yet, and my spiking base will be a double dagger. This is really bad, like you don't care about pushing this wave either. You simply want to go mid lane and R-force this mid lane tower already. We're just gonna go mid lane, rotate right away, and when you have the big spike, you're gonna base, okay? Many people, they take the tower, they push the wave, and then they base every single time. But you gotta understand if it's worth, like, else you're wasting a shit ton of time by basing and not getting any meaningful item towards your game. Really careful about this. Of course, the Pantheon. See, the Pantheon playing mid lane is always a fun situation. The Pantheon flashed. Flash W though on the wrong character. And oh, look at how this guy is so powerless. This is crazy. So the guy will ult. We will kill the Pantheon without even ulting or doing anything crazy. The guy just played really badly. And you see, once you reach PD, I don't feel like I have any problems of attack speed. I never feel like I have problems of attack speed with this build that I'm currently using. And guys, if you wanna play something that's not a mage, I believe that Ashe currently is one of the best characters to actually play. Like, no cap. Like, it's actually really easy. lots of damage, lots of utility, and it's really easy to execute, honestly. As long as you focus yourself on the kiting side, you're gonna have success with this character. I advise to ban any assassin. Assassins do counter Ashe pretty well. So anything like Kiana, Talon, Zed, any character that simply just goes at you and tries to one-shot you tends to counter you really hard because it doesn't give you the chance of kiting them back. And in this game instead, we have Pantheon, which is technically a really good matchup for me if I don't die when they are engaged. Now let's see for this fight, because I think this fight is pretty good. This fight is pretty good. Gotta be careful when she turns on me. She's just gonna play like an NPC, which is pretty good. So again, in this game, I'm seeing a QSS angle. I do believe that QSS is the play. The only two Fed characters right now are sort of Fiddle and Heimerdinger. And what is gonna win their game is either the stun of Pantheon or the Fiddlestick Fear. So because of that, we are gonna go for QSS. I never advise to go cleanse anyways. Like, you don't have to go cleanse because your lane becomes 3 times weaker. No one goes cleanse anymore, no matter the matchup, unless you have literally 4 players that stun. It is really important to understand that, guys. Every time I see people making the mistake of going cleanse, when in reality there's a meta where your support can even go Mikals whenever he wants. So you can ask your support, hey support, I want QSS, go Mikals, right? If you really need something else. Now this guy fish checked really hard, and I think that he's, oh my god, he went ultra hard on me. He went really, really hard on me. And this guy is dead again. Nice. So no flash, no flash. And I think that we're really near to the end of this game. And in fact, this game is over. Let me know down in the comments if this helped you out. And if it didn't, let me know what else you would love to see. As always, thank you so much for watching.